welcome to another episode of Hidden Stories Healed Now. I am so fortunate to have a wonderful guest with me today, and we're going to be talking about motherhood. The thing that all of these women, we want to have children, we want to be mothers. We're going to talk about what that really means and how do you persevere when it's all about being a mom. It is my undue pleasure and honor to welcome Miss Angela Sims to the show.
Thank you
Hi,
so much.
Angela.
Hi, how you doing? Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you know what? This is my pleasure, and you're going to be a blessing to all of this audience around the world because that's what we do. So I would love for you to share your experience and journey with the audience regarding your motherhood.
Oh, thank you so much again for having me. Motherhood was something that I waited a long time to become, right? I spent my young adult life avoiding motherhood, right? Until I could do it the way that I thought it should be done, which is being married first. I didn't get married till I was 36 years old. And what happened is that once we got married, we were just ready just to have children right away. And it didn't work out the way I thought it would. I thought it'd be easy, right? Because everything else had a great career, fine husband, everything was working out, right? But it didn't work out that way. We actually suffered 3 miscarriages in the first year of marriage.
Oh, no.
In 1 year, back to back to back. And I just didn't understand it because why not when I've, planned so carefully? I've prayed so carefully on this, right? So it didn't work out. So we went and had a lot of tests done. He got tested, and my husband already had children. So he had gotten tested, I got tested, and we just got in a journey together of how are we going to make this happen. Start off at 36. I didn't actually have my son till I was 38 going on 39. After much testing, experimentation, and of course the losses of the 3 babies. And even having him was a challenge, so I had to get shots, shoot myself every day with a shot twice a day. Just be really careful. I tried to live as any other pregnant woman and really enjoy the pregnancy. And then what happened is at 27 weeks, my water broke. And I went to work. Because the doctor said, hey, I don't think it's anything, honey, just call me in the morning. So I went to work and waited till about 9 o'clock when the doctor's open, and then a woman answered the phone, a nurse, and she said, no, baby, you come to the hospital right now. Not now, but right now, right? So I was working in Manhattan at the time. I drove to the hospital, and the doctor said to me, oh, honey, we're just going to check and see if your water broke. I said, water? Huh? Water broke? I'm 27 weeks pregnant. Unfortunately, the baby was ready. I wasn't, but the baby was ready. And consequently, we had him, who is our precious angel. He's 12 years old now, so thank God for that. But we had him very early. He spent 78 days in the NICU, all types of ups and downs, peaks and valleys, but thank God it's a wonderful story because we do have our son now who is just an incredible, incredible child.
Well,
Blessing.
first, congratulations on that. I completely, it's one of those things, understand, it's when you go through trials and tribulations, whether it is trying to get pregnant, whether it's going through pregnancy, trying to have that child, it's like, oh, I just want that child. I want that child. And being able to persevere in making it happen. So let's talk a little bit about that journey of what actually occurred. There are a lot of women that I'm sure that are listening today, and they're like, I had a miscarriage. And how do I come back from that emotionally, much less 2 times, 3 times? Talk to me about, first of all, let's get really real. Those things that are in the closet that we don't talk about. What were the feelings that you went through? How did you, when you lost that child the first time?
That's bringing so much up because, let me just say this, I'm a Leo. Some people think I'm kind of a strong girl, right? But I say with me being a strong girl, I wear this mask because sometimes I'm afraid if you pull just one string, it might all fall apart, right? So I got to just keep it moving and keep it moving. But with that first miscarriage, that one, they were all hard, but the first one was devastating. And the reason why is because my whole family had been waiting all these years for Angie, who had never had a child, to have all the family. Lots of people had children, but they were waiting. It was anticipation. Even my best friend was waiting for her godchild to come. And in anticipation, we told everybody a little too soon. And then when it came that the doctor said, oh, you're this many weeks pregnant, and a few weeks later, you're still kind of that many weeks pregnant, the baby's not growing. After they told us, they thought it might be twins. So we had all this anticipation in the family, and then with my husband and I, and it was just devastating because when you share it with other people, although it's our pain, we shared their pain too. So it was really, the first one was really hard. But in perfect Leo style, I got back on the horse and I kept on saying, we're going to get this done. My husband specifically was very devastated because he'd already had children. And he said, well, why not with my wife? My husband and I know each other since we were babies. Our mother said when they grow up, they'll get married. So he said, why not with my wife? The child we're planning, why not? So I'm the Leo, and oh no, we got to try again. We got to go again. He said, wait. It's my wife that's most important to me. So if they ask me to make a choice, your choice. I waited to get married to you, right? And I'm like, but we got to have this baby because God told me I'd have my own child. He told me. He wouldn't lie to me, right? So second miscarriage, also devastating. And then the final one, which also devastating because we happened to be, my husband and I used to run our church's couples ministry at our church. We happened to be at a beautiful resort in Rhode Island. And we knew that we had miscarried and we thought that the process had finished itself. I happened to go have a massage because that's what we do when we travel. We always get a massage. I get a massage. And there was an island lady that said to me, oh, honey, any toxins in your body, they're going to all come out. And I was like, okay. It's a massage, right? So, and I thought I had already, she was right. In that resort, everything came out of my body. And I thought I was kind of done already. That was hard. Because even when I gave birth to my son, I had a C-section. So that is the only part of giving birth I've ever experienced. And it was the expelling of the baby that was not to be. It was very hard. We were at this, as I said, beautiful resort. We were leading the couples retreat, so we had to take the whole Sunday. We're not coming. People, hey, you coming to this session? You go, no, we're not. It was really to feel it. I thought that maybe I was a little more fortunate than other moms that had miscarried because I miscarried at 5 weeks. I knew moms that had to deliver at, 7, 8, 9 months. But I thought, okay, well, they do the procedure to make sure, but this last time I felt it. It's hard.
Well, we're gonna take a station break, and when we come back, we're gonna follow up on the conversation. We'll be right back.
Every story has a hidden element that is not often shared. Hidden Stories, Healed Now, with host Vicki Wright Hamilton, seeks to share the hidden gems in real-life experiences. Our guests are ordinary people sharing their stories of overcoming insurmountable odds while providing hope and inspiration.
Welcome back to Hidden Stories Healed Now. First of all, I commend you for your strength. It takes a lot of strength to go through that. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. During that process, after you lost your third one, what gave you the gumption to keep going? How'd you do it?
I'm going to tell you that when God makes me a promise, he's never broken it. And he promised me. And I said, I'm holding you to it. So my husband kept on saying, I want my wife. Are you willing to die for this, Angie? I said, but God wouldn't lie. He wouldn't lie to me. So I got right, I was just determined in that I stood for what he promised me. He promised me, and I stood on that. And that's what honestly gave me the strength to do it. Because I don't know that had he not, with my own intention, I would not have been able to move forward.
So you get pregnant. You're happy.
I am.
And oh my gosh, thank you, Lord. You promised me.
Yes.
Now you got to help me keep it.
Yes.
You got to help me hold it. Did you do anything different? Did it change you to behave differently this time when you were pregnant? Did you know this was the time that was magical?
I'm going to tell you that No, I was still a fool. I did not at all think, I didn't walk carefully. I worked in New York City. So, New York City is pushing and pulling on the bus. Nobody was giving me a seat. I was knocking people. I was doing the New York City thing.
Yeah.
I was like, what's going on here? So I wasn't really cautious in that way. But every little move caused me to pause. Every little, I feel something caused me to have anxiety. But I really pretty much carried myself. I enjoyed, feeling this baby move. There's nothing in the world like it.
Amen.
Nothing in the world like feeling this baby move inside of you. And I just held on to the promises this was going to be it. So actually, when my water broke, I was totally shocked, like, what's happening here? Because I was treating myself like it was a normal pregnancy, because that's what I expected.
Mm-hmm. So when your water broke, you went to the hospital and all of that. And obviously, the baby was ready, and the baby comes out, and your eye is on the baby for the first time.
Oh my goodness. So I will never forget that moment. They're doing a C-section, and the scariest part about this is that I know that they should be done by now, but I hear nothing. And I'm saying and my husband doesn't want to look behind the curtain, but he's looking across it. Right? And I'm saying, what's going on? What's going on? I can't hear it. He said, oh no, babe, it's fine. But it wasn't fine. And he was just trying to. He said, oh, it's fine. They're just cleaning him up. He's okay. He's coming. I'm like, no, I can't hear what is going on. And then it felt like hours, but a few seconds later, I heard meow, meow. And I was crushed. And they rushed him up, hurry up, Dad, take a picture. And they brought him right here. And it never dawned on me that he would actually be as little as he was, 2 pounds and 3 ounces. So just a small little thing all wrapped up and bundled up, but I will never forget. And my husband he took a picture right at that second. So forever I have that me looking at him for the first time. So it was wonderful. It was wonderful.
Yes, and I can relate to part of that as well. I had a preemie, and he was born at 4 pounds 3 ounces and went down to 3 pounds 11 ounces, and so I definitely can understand the NICU and those moments and those kinds of things, because it's like you're sitting there and it's like, I need him to be okay, and every day you're like, is he eating? Is he all right?
Yeah.
Is he,
Yeah.
But if it's any consolation, he's 34 years old and 6 foot. 6'1" and 220 pounds.
Yes,
okay?
I believe it.
So you would never know that there was any kind of premium or any kind of challenges.
Yes,
coming
wonderful.
from that time.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about because your husband wanted his wife, and you were like, yes, but I got this promise. Did it cause anxiety at all between the two of you?
It did, but not like, oh, I'm going to leave you, not like that significant, but it caused a lot of friction, because my husband and I were raised a little different, right? So my mother taught me that the glass wasn't half full, wasn't half empty. That sucker's running over, only you know it, right? Whereas my husband was taught something bad happens, something else bad's going to happen. So we're coming from, although we grew up together, we're coming from two different standpoints of, and I won't say faith necessarily, because he has a lot of faith, but I was just so driven with what I knew God had said to me. And my husband's like, that is wonderful. But what about you? I was willing to have this baby, even if it would have meant me. And he wasn't.
So what advice would you give to women that are going through this challenge, and even when it causes turmoil at home, because you go through one miscarriage, that's bad enough, and then you get to the second one, and he's like, no, wait a minute, okay, and then you go through a third one, and say, okay, we can't do this anymore, we have to stop. But you were so driven, and he obviously was supporting you, or you wouldn't have gotten to that point. But what would you tell women that are facing these challenges, and how to deal when they're going through those miscarriages, and how to bounce back up? What's the 1 or 2 tips you would give them?
One thing I would say that I didn't do is take more stock into, I believe I should have taken more stock into my husband's feelings about it. I probably would have still went ahead and had my baby. Let's get that clear. But just when, in hindsight, looking back on it, it seemed almost like it was forged it, but it was really something us together, right? So, and that really helped out even through the NICU, us being partners. That really helped out because the devastation of the miscarriages is really bad. But that day in and day out, seeing your baby and you can't take him home, and one day he's going to die, and the next day he's great. Next day he loses a pound, a whole pound, not ounces, a whole pound, right? Next day he has a blood issue. That the peaks and valleys of that is what can be absolutely devastating. And you have to stay with your partner. And you have to also consider them, because I was with my baby every day. I mean, when my feet touched the floor, I got dressed and went to the hospital and stayed all day. And they had to convince me I couldn't stay the night, which was fine, right? But I didn't do that. But you know what? I got a little angry because my husband didn't visit in the same way that I did. But I had to learn to be okay with that. That was a difficult thing for me. But you have to learn. My husband said to me that if we get through this, we'll get through anything. And it's true. You have to understand that they love differently than you do. They support differently. His thing was going in the middle of the night talking to Christian. He spent every night with them, with his headphones on. Sometimes not talking to him, sometimes whatever he did, that's their relationship. It wasn't for me to judge how he visited, when he visited as often. We had two different ways of doing that. And I would tell women to really lean on your faith. And find somebody that you know is really supportive of you, because people don't get tired of hearing you talking about your baby and this and that. You know, even though they love you, you know, they still have their own whole lives going on. Mm-hmm. So just really consider your partner, even if it's not your husband. Mm-hmm. Consider them, because mm-hmm. they're also grieving, they're also suffering, they have all this manliness, yes, right? Yeah. So on top of all this, I'm supposed to not be the crying man, right? Yeah. Yeah. And just consider them, because it'll help your marriage, you know, it'll help you understand them better and allow them to have whatever relationship they have with the child that they have, and don't try to force it into a whole or a bundle that you think they should have, because it's just the way you do it.
That's awesome advice, and I definitely agree with you as we continue to move forward. We're going to take a station break, and we'll be right back.
Every story has a hidden element that is not often shared. Hidden Stories, Healed Now, with host Vicki Wright Hamilton, seeks to share the hidden gems in real-life experiences. Our guests are ordinary people sharing their stories of overcoming insurmountable odds while providing hope and inspiration.
Welcome back to Hidden Stories, Healed Now. You know, as you can see, there's so much into the desires of wanting to have a child, whether it's a man or a woman. Mm-hmm. But when a woman is thinking about, okay, I need to have this baby, you know, I want this child, I want to move forward. You said before station break that you really needed to listen to your mate or your husband, or in order to build that relationship, mm-hmm. and allow them to have the kind of relationship they want. And I think that's really important, because it really means that we all get to love the way we want to love, and we have our bonds the way we want to have a bond.
Absolutely.
A bond with the mother and a son may not be the same kind of bond as a son with a
mm-hmm.
father. And so I commend you on that reflection, mm-hmm. because after reflecting, now it's an opportunity for you to even do corrective action. Yes. Right? Yes. So can I do something differently?
Yes.
So talk about the day you came home.
Well, the day the baby came.
Oh,
okay. I was going to say, because that's a whole different.
Yeah, it's
when
a whole
I came home
different
by
story.
myself,
I know you come home and it's like, oh my God, where's my baby?
But
at?
I'm going to tell you. So the day he came home, of course, I've got the outfit. Everybody has the outfit for the baby to come home. I have this beautiful blue outfit and this velvet with a hat and everything. So we dress him, and all the nurses are goodbye. And you know, one of the moms ran up to us. It was like a slow motion. Oh, you're leaving, and you know, just all of those emotions. But I remember, because they still ride you down in a wheelchair, even though you haven't given birth for 3 months, right? So downstairs, and I'm holding him, and it feels like I just gave birth, even though I didn't. Mm-hmm. But I remember being in the car, and I remember my husband taking him out of the car seat to bring him in that house. And when he did that, my husband sat him down in the car seat on the floor, and I'm going to tell you, it felt like a love I've never felt in my life. And it's almost like this baby had a metamorphosis, because he had jaundice. He started turning regular. It's like, I'm home now, I'm going to live. It's almost like he was changing right in front of our face. And I actually have that picture too, when my husband put him down, the look on his face, just looking down at this baby like, thank God we made it here. and he's home. And it's almost like Christian knew, because like I said, his color instantly, the color in his face started changing. He just seemed like more alert from the moment we brought him home. It was the most beautiful day.
You know, it's interesting because we all live for that moment.
Yeah.
And so congratulations on having a son.
Yes,
and I
yes.
know that's the apple of your
Yes,
eye
yes.
and the center of everything you do and those relationships, you know, as you continue to move forward. And I'm thankful that you and your husband were able to work things out
Yes, yes.
and keep things strong
Yes.
and tight in the family. And now everybody doesn't have to worry about Angie having a child. Now you go spread it to the world, right?
Listen.
You know, let's get all over the horn and tell
Right,
everybody,
right.
I did it,
Right,
I did it. You got your
exactly.
grandbaby,
Exactly,
right? You got your
exactly.
niece, you know, your
Yeah.
godchild,
Yes.
etc. And I'm sure he's growing up to go on and do great things.
Yes, he's incredible.
You know,
Thank you.
in terms of moving forward. So congratulations on those fronts. You know, before we go to the audience for a question in terms of moving forward, the last thing that I want to ask you is when as a older woman getting married, did you have anxiety of a clock of I got to get married, I got to hurry up and get married because I want to have a child? Did you feel like if I wait too long, I won't be able to?
Yeah.
That's the other aspect
Yeah.
of wanting to have a baby.
Yeah.
And sometimes people like, forget the marriage, I just want to go have a baby,
Right.
you know, because my
Yeah,
clock is running out.
absolutely.
How did you deal with that? And did you experience that at all?
It's so funny. I actually wrote a book about that because I did experience all those things. I wrote a book about the list that you have and is it really accurate to have a list? And when my husband and I say we decided to get married. I tell everybody that because he was my best friend. We were friends for years. And I was supposed to get married before I even got married, like a year or so, and it didn't work out. And I said, okay, listen, how do I have a baby? Because I know that hasn't, but I knew I did not want to have a child. It's hard enough with two people, right? I knew I didn't want to step into doing it by myself, you know, step on purpose, right? So what happened is that my husband and I got even closer as friends, and we had dated in college and such. But once we started talking about what marriage would look like for us and why we were so suitable to be married, and we had always loved each other, that whole baby and the clock thing, all of that was always a part of how do I do this? And now that I've been so successful in my career, you realize that don't really matter. It doesn't. Because that career can go away and the dash in between the start and the end won't mean a thing.
That's right.
Right? What have you left here? And it was so important for me to have my own family. And yeah, I absolutely had a clock in my head, but I had to realize that God would bring everything I needed, and he had already done it. So I tell my girlfriends that aren't married yet, your husband's probably right there, and he don't drive the right car for you. He don't wear the right clothes for you. He don't make enough money for you, but he's right there, and you're just not paying attention to him. That was my story, because I wasn't on my husband's list, and he wasn't on mine. But I could not have married a better person, ever.
And that's true. You know, we have to go with what's destined for us versus what we have this vision of, you know, because what we have our vision of may not be what's good for us.
Yes,
in the end.
absolutely.
So let's see if we have a question from our audience.
Hi, my name is Nia Williams. I am an HR professional for Amazon. And my question to you is, with trying to conceive, and you did conceive those 3 times, did you have a lot of anxiety each time you got pregnant, thinking about if the baby was going to survive?
Thank you for the question, and that red jacket is popping. Thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Every magazine article I saw, everything on TV, it was all, you go to church and they say, the preacher's talking to me. I thought everybody was talking to me. Whether it was a magazine article, commercial on TV, everything about a baby. It seemed like miscarriage word was blaring everywhere. Every single time I had anxiety. And I end up being, the fourth pregnancy, end up being like a pillow cushion. They take 22 vials of blood, every time, and I'm going every week. So I'm looking through everything I see points to, is this not going to work out? And I had anxiety, which may have been a cause of the miscarriages as well, because I believed in God, but you can trust and believe and have faith and still have doubt. That's regular human stuff, right? So God told you something, but then God, wait a minute, how come this ain't, hold, you sure? You know, that happens. It's just regular. So absolutely, I had every single time, as determined as I was, every single time I was scared to death. Thank you for the question.
Thank you so much for that. Fear is something that causes us, because of what we see.
Mm-hmm.
And God says, believe not by sight,
Mm-hmm.
right? And but we're human,
Mm-hmm.
and those emotions and those feelings can just be overwhelming
Yeah.
and take us to no end, right? Where we're just like, oh my gosh, I believe you, God, but okay, today is Tuesday. Why
what's
won't
taking
it
you
happen
so long?
Monday? Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. And then when we listen to negative things around
Oh,
us,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think it's really important that as you're going through something, there's so much data and information out there. And
Oh, yeah.
today, we have everything on the internet. We have more access to data today than we have ever had before. And that's good data and bad data. And what we have to do is center ourselves in a positive circle.
Yeah.
Center ourselves with people who are evenly yoked. That say, I believe like you believe. God told you that? Yep, we're going to do it. Don't
That's
know whether
it.
it's today, tomorrow, next week, but it's going to happen. But it's so important for us to get that positive reinforcement as we continue
Yeah,
to move forward.
you're right.
Well, this has been very enlightening. I know that you have given a lot to our audience to hear and to
you.
listen, and the ability to make a change and to know that there is hope even when you think there isn't.
Absolutely.
Will you all join me in thanking Angela Sims for being with us today? Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Hidden Stories Healed Now. Remember, for every secret and everything that is hidden that we share, we give ourselves true freedom. See you next time.